The ground was cold and silent, and the night sky above looked strange, glowing with soft blue light, as if something was watching from far away. In the middle of the empty field, a small alien girl lay on the ground, her body weak and shaking, her skin faintly glowing like fading stars, her breathing slow and uneven. On her thin wrist, a bright device blinked again and again, showing one terrifying number: 6 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. And then it changed. 5 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. The countdown had already begun. Not far from her, a group of humans stood in fear, wearing heavy suits and holding weapons. Their faces tense, their eyes locked on the girl, as if she was something dangerous. "Do not go near her," one of the soldiers said loudly, his voice full of warning. "We don't know what she is capable of." Another man stepped back slowly, whispering, "They said her kind destroyed entire worlds." Fear spread quickly among them. No one moved closer, no one wanted to risk it. The alien girl tried to lift her head, but she was too weak. Her small hand moved slightly, reaching out toward the humans, but no one stepped forward. Her voice came out soft and broken. "Please." But the wind almost carried it away. Everyone stayed where they were, everyone. Except one. A young human man stood at the edge of the group, his face serious but calm, his eyes not filled with fear, but with something else, something different. He looked at the girl carefully. She did not look like a monster. She looked like a child, alone, weak and scared. The soldier noticed him stepping forward. "Stop right there," the soldier shouted, raising his weapon slightly. "If you go near her, you are on your own." The man did not stop. He took another step, and then another. Each step closer made the tension heavier in the air. "You don't understand," the soldier warned again. "If she activates, it could kill all of us." But the man kept walking. His heartbeat was fast, but his mind was clear. He could not ignore what he saw: a dying child, not a weapon, not a threat, just a child. The alien girl slowly turned her head, her glowing eyes meeting his for the first time. There was fear in her eyes, but also hope, as if she did not expect anyone to come closer, as if she had already accepted that she would be left alone. The man finally reached her side and slowly knelt down, careful, calm, not making any sudden movement. Up close, she looked even weaker. Her breathing was shallow, her light was fading. The timer on her wrist continued to count down. 5 hours 47 minutes and 12 seconds. 5 hours 47 minutes and 11 seconds. The sound of it ticking felt louder than anything else. The man swallowed slowly and spoke in a soft voice. "It's okay." He did not know if she could understand him, but he said it anyway. The girl's lips moved slightly. Her voice was barely there. "Don't leave." The words were broken, but clear enough. And in that moment, something inside the man changed. He looked back at the others. They were all watching him, shocked, confused, even angry. "Step away from her," the soldier shouted again. This time louder, more serious. "This is your last warning." The man turned back to the girl. And then he made his choice. "I'm staying," he said quietly. The soldier's face hardened. "If you stay, you may die," the man nodded slightly. "I know." The wind grew stronger, moving across the empty land, carrying dust and silence with it. The timer kept moving. 5 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds. 5 hours 29 minutes and 59 seconds. The alien girl's hand slowly moved again. And this time, it touched his. Her skin felt warm, but unstable, like energy was moving inside her. The man did not pull away. Instead, he held her hand gently. Her eyes closed for a moment, as if she felt safe for the first time. Behind them, the humans argued, unsure what to do next. Some wanted to run. Some wanted to attack. But no one understood what was really happening. Only one thing was clear. Time was running out. And whatever was going to happen next would change everything. The man looked at the glowing timer again, then back at the girl, and for the first time, a quiet fear crossed his mind, not for himself, but for her. Because deep down, he knew one thing. If the countdown reached 0, something terrible would happen, and he had just chosen to stay right beside it. The cold wind moved across the empty field, but the man did not move. His hand still holding the alien girl's weak fingers, her skin glowing softly like a dying light. The timer on her wrist continued its silent countdown. 5 hours 28 minutes and 10 seconds. 5 hours 28 minutes and 9 seconds. Each second felt heavier than the last. Behind him, the soldiers were no longer calm, their voices rising, filled with fear and anger. "You are making a mistake," one of them shouted, stepping forward. "You don't know what she is," another voice followed. Sharper, colder. "She is not a child. She is a weapon." The man closed his eyes for a brief moment, then opened them again, his focus returning to the girl in front of him. She did not look like a weapon. She looked like someone who was about to die. Slowly, he spoke, his voice steady but quiet. If she was a weapon, she would have attacked already. The soldiers fell silent for a second, unsure how to respond. The truth in his words made them hesitate, but fear was stronger than logic. The leader stepped forward, his weapon now fully raised. "We have orders," he said firmly. "If the subject becomes unstable, we eliminate it." The word subject felt cold and empty. The man did not like it. He looked down at the girl again. Her eyes were half open, struggling to stay awake. Her breathing was getting worse. Without thinking much, the man reached into his small bag and pulled out a water flask. He slowly lifted her head, supporting it gently. "It's okay," he whispered again. "Drink slowly." The girl tried to move, her lips touching the edge of the flask, taking a very small sip. For a moment, her glow became a little stronger. A soft pulse of light moved across her skin. The soldiers reacted instantly. "Step away," one shouted. "Her energy is rising." Weapons pointed directly at them now. The air felt tight, heavy, dangerous. But the man did not move away. Instead, he watched carefully. The light was not violent. It was weak, unstable, like a flame trying to survive in the wind. "She is not attacking," he said again, louder this time. "She is trying to stay alive." The leader narrowed his eyes. "Or she is preparing," he replied. The timer continued. 5 hours 10 minutes and 44 seconds. 5 hours 10 minutes and 43 seconds. The alien girl slowly turned her head toward the man again, her glowing eyes meeting his. There was something new in her expression. Trust, very small but real. Her voice came out again, broken but clearer than before. "It hurts." The man felt a sharp pain in his chest hearing those words. He looked around quickly, then back at her. "Where does it hurt?" he asked softly. She did not answer with words this time. Instead, her body reacted. A sudden pulse of energy moved from her chest outward, causing the ground under them to tremble slightly. The soldiers stepped back in panic. "This is it," one of them shouted. "She is activating." But the man stayed. He could feel the energy too. It was strong. But it did not feel like anger. It felt like pain, like something inside her was breaking. He placed his free hand gently over her chest. Careful, slow. Her body was warm, too warm, as if she was burning from inside. The timer kept moving. 4 hours 59 minutes and 58 seconds. 4 hours 59 minutes and 57 seconds. The moment it dropped below 5 hours, something changed. The device on her wrist blinked faster. The light turned from soft blue to a stronger white glow. The soldiers became more aggressive. "We cannot wait any longer," the leader said, his voice tense. "Prepare to fire." Multiple weapons lifted at once, all aimed at the small, weak girl. The man quickly moved, placing himself more directly in front of her. "Stop," he shouted, louder than before. "This is your final warning," the leader replied, his finger slowly pressing against the trigger. The air felt like it could break at any second. The alien girl's hand tightened slightly around the man's fingers. A weak reaction, but enough. As if she knew what was about to happen, as if she was afraid. The man looked back at the soldiers, his eyes sharp now. "If you shoot," he said slowly, "you are not protecting anyone. You are killing someone who cannot even stand." Silence fell again, but only for a second, because the timer did not stop. It never stopped. 4 hours 45 minutes and 12 seconds. 4 hours 45 minutes and 11 seconds. The wind grew stronger, the ground still shaking slightly from the unstable energy. The girl's breathing became even more uneven. Her glow flickered in that moment. The man realized something important. Time was not just running out. It was pushing her closer to something unknown, something dangerous, and yet, he still did not move. He tightened his grip on her hand slightly, and made his decision clear once again. No matter what happens next, he was not leaving her alone. The wind did not stop, and the field felt more unstable now, as if the ground itself was afraid of what was coming next. The man stayed beside the alien girl, still holding her hand, his eyes moving between her weak face and the glowing timer on her wrist. 4 hours 44 minutes and 30 seconds. 4 hours 44 minutes and 29 seconds. Each second felt louder than before. The soldiers had not lowered their weapons, but they had not fired either. They were waiting, watching, unsure. The leader spoke again, his voice lower but more dangerous. "You still have time to step away," he said. "After that, we will not wait." The man did not answer him. His focus was on the girl. Her breathing had changed again. Slower, deeper, but also more painful. Her body trembled slightly, and small waves of light moved across her skin. She opened her eyes again, looking directly at him. This time there was less fear, more awareness, as if she was slowly coming back from somewhere far away. "You stayed," she whispered, her voice weak but clearer than before. The man nodded gently. "Yes, I stayed," he replied softly. For a moment, her glowing eyes softened. A small sign of comfort appeared on her face, something she had not felt in a long time. "You should not," she said slowly, her words breaking between breaths. "It is dangerous." The man gave a small, calm smile. "I know," he said, "but you are not alone." Those words seemed to affect her deeply. Her fingers moved slightly, holding his hand a little tighter. The timer continued. 4 hours 30 minutes and 5 seconds. 4 hours 30 minutes and 4 seconds. The air around them started to feel heavier, as if invisible pressure was building. The man leaned a little closer. "Tell me what is happening to you," he asked quietly. For a moment, she did not answer. Her eyes moved away, looking at the dark sky above. Then slowly she spoke again. "I was not always like this." Her voice carried pain, not just physical, but something deeper. "They took me," she continued, her breathing uneven, "changed me." The man listened carefully, not interrupting. "They made me strong, too strong." A faint pulse of light moved through her body again. The ground shook lightly beneath them. The soldiers reacted immediately. "She is building energy," one of them said nervously. But the man stayed focused. "What do you mean?" he asked gently. Her eyes closed for a second, as if remembering something she did not want to see. "I was a child," she said, her voice shaking. "Not a weapon." The words hit the man hard. He had guessed something like this, but hearing it from her made it real. "They tested me," she continued, "filled me with energy I could not control." The timer on her wrist blinked faster. 4 hours 12 minutes and 19 seconds. 4 hours 12 minutes and 18 seconds. "If the energy grows too much," she whispered, "it ends." The man frowned slightly. "Ends," he repeated. "What do you mean?" Her eyes opened again, and this time there was fear. Real fear. "I break," she said softly. "Everything around me breaks too." The air went silent for a moment. Even the soldiers did not speak. They were listening now. The truth was becoming clear. "She is unstable," one soldier said quietly. "If the timer reaches 0. The leader finished the sentence. "She explodes." The word echoed in the cold air. The man looked back at the girl. She did not deny it. Her silence was enough. The timer kept moving. 4 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. 3 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. When it dropped below 4 hours, her body reacted again. A stronger wave of energy pushed outward, causing dust and small stones to lift from the ground. The soldiers stepped back quickly, weapons shaking slightly in their hands. "This is getting worse," one of them said. "We cannot let this continue," another added. But the man stayed where he was, even now, even after hearing the truth. He did not move away. Instead, he leaned closer to her again. "Listen to me," he said softly. "We will find a way to stop it." She shook her head weakly. "There is no way," she whispered. "I tried." Tears formed in her glowing eyes, a quiet sign of fear and sadness. "I don't want to hurt anyone," she added. The man felt something tighten in his chest again. This was not a monster. This was a child who was afraid of herself. Behind him, the leader raised his weapon again. "This is over," he said, his voice cold. "We end this before it gets worse." The sound of multiple weapons locking filled the air. The alien girl closed her eyes slowly, as if she had accepted what was coming. But the man did not accept it. He tightened his grip on her hand and moved slightly, placing himself fully between her and the soldiers. "No," he said firmly. The word was simple, but strong. The timer continued its endless countdown. 3 hours 45 minutes and 10 seconds. 3 hours 45 minutes and 9 seconds. The energy around them grew more unstable. The air itself felt like it was shaking. And in that moment, one truth became clear to everyone. This was no longer just about fear, or orders, or survival. This was about a choice, and the man had already made his. No matter what happened next, he was not going to let her face it alone. The air felt heavy now, like a storm was building without clouds, the ground shaking softly under their feet, and the light from the alien girl growing more unstable with every second. The man stood in front of her, his body acting like a shield. His eyes locked on the soldiers who were now fully ready to fire. The timer continued its cold countdown. 3 hours 44 minutes and 2 seconds. 3 hours 44 minutes and 1 second. The leader stepped forward slowly, his weapon steady. His voice calm but filled with pressure. "Move aside," he said. "This is your last chance." The man did not move. Behind him, the alien girl struggled to breathe, her soft glow flickering like it could disappear at any moment. "You don't understand," the man said, his voice stronger now. "She's not trying to hurt anyone." The leader's eyes narrowed. "And you don't understand," he replied. "If she loses control, everyone here dies." For a moment, silence filled the space between them. Only the sound of the timer continued. 3 hours 30 minutes and 55 seconds. 3 hours 30 minutes and 54 seconds. The soldiers shifted slightly, their fingers ready on the triggers, fear visible even through their helmets. One of them whispered, "Sir, we cannot wait much longer." The leader nodded slowly. "I know," he said quietly. The alien girl moved weakly behind the man, her hand still holding onto him as if he was the only thing keeping her grounded. Her voice came again, even softer than before. "You should go." The man closed his eyes for a second, hearing her words. Then he shook his head gently. "No," he said. "I'm not leaving you." Her fingers tightened slightly, a small sign of emotion, of fear, of something deeper. The energy around her pulsed again, stronger this time, sending a wave across the ground. Dust lifted into the air, small rocks trembling. The soldiers reacted instantly. "That's it," one of them shouted. "She is becoming unstable." Weapons raised higher. The tension snapped. "Fire on my command," the leader said. The man stepped forward quickly, blocking their clear view completely. "No," he shouted, louder than before. "You are not doing this." The leader's voice turned sharp. "You are putting everyone at risk, and you are about to kill someone who is already dying," the man replied. Their eyes locked, two sides, two choices, fear against compassion. The timer continued. 3 hours 10 minutes and 20 seconds. 3 hours 10 minutes and 19 seconds. The alien girl cried out softly behind him, her body shaking harder now. The energy inside her was becoming harder to control. The man turned quickly, kneeling beside her again. "It's okay," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "Stay with me." She looked at him with weak, glowing eyes. "You don't understand," she whispered, her voice breaking. "When it reaches 0, I can't stop it." The man swallowed, feeling the weight of her words, but he did not step away. Instead, he held her hand tighter. "We will find a way," he said. She shook her head slowly, tears forming again. No one ever did. Behind them, the leader's patience was gone. "This ends now," he said firmly. "Ready," he commanded. The soldiers aimed. The sound of safety locks clicking off echoed in the air. The moment felt frozen. The timer kept moving. 2 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. 2 hours 59 minutes and 58 seconds. As it dropped below 3 hours, everything changed again. A sudden surge of energy exploded outward from the girl, much stronger than before. The ground cracked slightly beneath them. A bright light flashed. The soldiers were pushed back a step, some losing balance. "What was that?" one of them shouted. The leader's face tightened. "She is accelerating," he said. The man shielded the girl with his body, holding his ground despite the force. The energy was not just strong now. It was growing fast. The alien girl gasped in pain, her body arching slightly as if something inside her was tearing apart. "It hurts," she cried weakly. The man leaned closer, his voice urgent now. "Listen to me," he said. "You are stronger than this. You can fight it." She looked at him, fear and pain mixing in her glowing eyes. "I'm trying," she whispered. Another pulse hit, stronger again. The air vibrated. The light around her turned brighter, almost blinding. Behind them, the soldiers were struggling to stay steady. "We cannot control this," one of them said. "We have to end it now," another added. The leader raised his weapon once more. His decision was clear, but before he could give the command, the man stood up again, placing himself fully in front of the girl, his arms slightly spread. "If you fire," he said slowly, "you go through me first." The words hit hard. The soldiers hesitated. Even the leader paused for a brief second. The timer continued its endless march. 2 hours 45 minutes and 0 seconds. 2 hours 44 minutes and 59 seconds. The wind howled louder now, the ground still shaking under the growing energy. Everything was reaching a breaking point, and everyone could feel it. This was no longer just a situation. It was a moment that would decide everything. And the man had made his choice clear. No matter what it cost, he was not moving, not ever. The wind howled louder across the broken field, and the light around the alien girl burned brighter than before, unstable and sharp, like it could explode at any moment. The man remained in front of her, his body tense, his breath heavy, but his eyes steady. He had already made his choice. The timer on her wrist continued without mercy. 2 hours 44 minutes and 10 seconds. 2 hours 44 minutes and 9 seconds. Each second now felt like a step closer to disaster. Behind him, the soldiers had not lowered their weapons, but they were no longer rushing to fire. Fear had slowed them. Confusion had stopped them. They did not understand what was happening anymore, and that made it worse. The alien girl cried out again, her voice filled with pain, her small body shaking harder as waves of energy moved through her. "It's too much," she whispered, her voice breaking. The man quickly knelt beside her again, holding her shoulders gently, trying to keep her steady. "Stay with me," he said, his voice urgent but soft. "Focus on my voice." Her glowing eyes struggled to stay open, but she looked at him. There was fear, but also trust. A dangerous mix. "I don't want to hurt you," she said weakly. "You won't," he replied without hesitation, but deep inside, he was not sure. Another strong pulse of energy burst out from her body, stronger than anything before, forcing the man to push against the ground to stay balanced. The air itself seemed to bend for a moment. The soldiers stepped back again. "This is beyond control," one of them said. The leader did not respond, his eyes locked on the scene, calculating, waiting. The man felt something strange then, a vibration in the girl's hand, a pattern, like her energy was not just random, it was reacting, trying to stabilize, but failing. He looked at the glowing device on her wrist more carefully this time. The numbers were not just counting down. They were linked to her condition. Each drop in time made her more unstable. A sudden idea crossed his mind. Dangerous, but maybe the only chance. What if the energy is not the problem, he thought. What if the problem is that she is facing it alone? He looked back at her. Her body shaking, her light breaking apart. She was not controlling it. She was fighting it alone, and losing. He made his decision quickly. "I'm going to help you," he said. Her eyes widened slightly. "You can't," she whispered. "It will hurt you." "I know," he said calmly. He took a slow breath, then placed his hand gently over the glowing device on her wrist. The moment he touched it, a sharp pulse of energy ran through his body. He gasped, his muscles tightening instantly. It felt like fire and electricity moving at the same time, but he did not pull away. The soldiers reacted instantly. "What is he doing?" one of them shouted. "Stop him," another said. But no one moved forward. Something about the moment held them back. The man gritted his teeth, trying to stay focused. "Listen to me," he said to the girl, his voice shaking slightly now. "You are not alone anymore." Her breathing hitched, her eyes locked onto his. The energy between them began to change, not calmer, but shared. The pain in her body spread into him. And for a moment, he almost collapsed, but he stayed. He forced himself to stay. The timer continued. 2 hours 20 minutes and 33 seconds. 2 hours 20 minutes and 32 seconds. The ground trembled again. But this time the energy did not burst outward wildly. It moved differently, flowing between them. The alien girl gasped, her body reacting to the change. "What are you doing?" she asked weakly. "Helping you carry it," he replied. Tears formed in her glowing eyes. "No one ever did that." Another wave came, strong, painful. The man felt it fully now, his body shaking, his vision blurring for a second. But he held on, he refused to let go behind them. The soldiers watched in stunned silence. "This is insane," one of them said. "He is connecting with her energy," another whispered. The leader's expression changed slightly. For the first time, uncertainty appeared. The timer kept moving. 2 hours 5 minutes and 10 seconds. 2 hours 5 minutes and 9 seconds. The connection between them grew stronger. The girl's breathing slowly began to steady, just a little. But the man was weakening. His body was not made for this. Sweat ran down his face, his hands trembling, but still, he did not stop. "Stay with me," he said again. His voice lower now. She nodded weakly, their eyes locked. Two different beings, two different worlds, now connected by pain and survival. The energy surged again, stronger than before. Both of them cried out this time. The ground cracked further, the air shaking violently. The soldiers stepped back even more. "This will kill him," one of them said. "Yes," the leader replied quietly, "but it might save her." The timer continued its cold march. 1 hour 50 minutes and 0 seconds. 1 hour 49 minutes and 59 seconds. Time was running out faster than ever. The risk had been taken. There was no turning back now, and everyone knew it. Whatever happened next would decide not just her fate, but his as well. The sky above them no longer looked calm. It pulsed with faint light, reacting to the energy rising from the ground, as if the world itself could feel what was about to happen. The man was still connected to the alien girl, his hand locked over the device on her wrist, his body shaking from the pressure, his breath uneven. The timer kept moving without mercy. 1 hour 49 minutes and 20 seconds. 1 hour 49 minutes and 19 seconds. Each second now felt sharp, like it was cutting through both of them. The alien girl's glow was no longer soft. It flashed in strong waves, bright and dangerous, but not wild like before. Now it was focused, controlled, but barely. The man's knees pressed harder into the ground. Trying to hold his balance, pain ran through his body again, stronger than before. But he stayed. He did not let go. "Stay with me," he said again, his voice weaker now. She looked at him, her glowing eyes clearer than before, even through the pain. "You are hurting," she whispered. He gave a small, tired shake of his head. "It's okay," he said, even though it was not, behind them. The soldiers stood frozen, their weapons lowered slightly now, unsure of what they were watching. "This is not possible," one of them said quietly. "They are stabilizing it," another added, disbelief in his voice. The leader remained silent, his eyes fixed on the man and the girl. He was no longer sure what the right decision was. The timer continued. 1 hour 30 minutes and 0 seconds. 1 hour 29 minutes and 59 seconds. As it dropped lower, the energy changed again. A deep vibration filled the air, low and constant, like a warning. The ground cracked further, lines spreading out from where they knelt. Dust rose into the air, floating as if gravity itself was weakening. The alien girl gasped, her body tightening suddenly. "It's coming faster," she said, her voice filled with fear. The man felt it too. The energy inside her was building again, not breaking apart like before, but gathering, growing stronger. He tightened his grip, forcing himself to stay focused. "Don't fight it alone," he said, his voice shaking. "Share it with me." She closed her eyes tightly, trying. The connection between them pulsed again. Stronger, deeper. The pain hit both of them at the same time, a wave so powerful it pushed the man back slightly. But he held on. He refused to lose contact. The timer kept moving. 1 hour 10 minutes and 45 seconds. 1 hour 10 minutes and 44 seconds. The soldiers stepped back further, some of them lowering their weapons completely now. "We cannot stop this," one of them said. "We might not need to," another replied slowly. The leader's expression changed again, doubt growing in his eyes for the first time. He did not give an order. The alien girl opened her eyes again, looking at the man. "Why?" she asked, her voice soft but clear. "Why are you helping me?" The question hung in the air, simple, but heavy. The man looked at her, even through the pain, even through the fear. His answer came without hesitation. "Because you are not alone," he said. Her eyes widened slightly, the light inside them shifting. Something inside her changed in that moment, not the energy, but her. Her fear began to fade, just a little, replaced by something else, something stronger. The timer continued. 0 hours 50 minutes and 10 seconds. 0 hours 50 minutes and 9 seconds. The final hour was almost gone. The air around them vibrated harder, the light growing brighter with every passing second. The ground beneath them shook violently now, cracks spreading wider. The sky above flashing in response. Everything was reaching its limit. The alien girl cried out again, but this time her voice was stronger. "I can feel it," she said. "It's too much." The man gritted his teeth, his body barely holding together under the pressure. "You can control it," he said, even though he was not sure. Another surge exploded outward, stronger than anything before. The soldiers were forced back several steps, some falling to the ground. The leader grabbed onto a nearby rock to stay standing. "This is the end," one of them shouted. But the man and the girl were still there, still holding on, still fighting. The timer dropped again, 0 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds. 0 hours 29 minutes and 59 seconds. The final minutes had begun. The energy around them became almost blinding, the air filled with heat and light. The man's vision blurred, his strength fading. But he did not let go. Not now. Not when they had come this far. The alien girl held his hand tightly now, stronger than before, her breathing still heavy, but more stable. "I'm trying," she said. "I know," he replied softly. The timer continued, 0 hours 10 minutes and 10 seconds. 0 hours 10 minutes and 9 seconds. Everything slowed down. Every second felt longer than before. Every breath felt heavier. The soldiers could only watch now. No one moved, no one spoke. The entire world seemed to be waiting. The light reached its peak. The ground stopped shaking for a brief moment. A strange calm before the end. The man looked at the girl one more time, and for the first time despite everything. He smiled slightly. No fear, no regret. Only one thought in his mind. He stayed. And now, they would face the end together. The light around them reached its highest point, brighter than anything the field had ever seen. The air shaking, the ground cracked and broken, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The man could barely stay conscious now, his body weak, his vision fading. But his hand was still locked with hers. He had not let go. The timer continued its final countdown. 0 hours 9 minutes and 10 seconds. 0 hours 9 minutes and 9 seconds. Each second now felt like the end of everything. The alien girl's body was glowing so brightly it was hard to see her clearly. Her small form surrounded by waves of energy, rising and falling like a storm. "I can't stop it," she cried, her voice filled with fear. The man forced himself to speak, even as his strength faded. "Yes, you can," he said weakly. "You're not alone." The connection between them pulsed again, stronger than ever before. The energy was no longer just inside her, now it was between them. Shared, balanced, but at a cost. The man's body shook violently, unable to fully handle the force. The soldiers watched in silence. No one moving, no one speaking. They all knew this was the final moment. The timer dropped lower. 0 hours 5 minutes and 0 seconds. 0 hours 4 minutes and 59 seconds. The ground lifted slightly beneath them, small stones floating into the air. Pulled by the unstable force, the alien girl looked at the man, her glowing eyes filled with emotion. "Why?" she asked again, her voice breaking. "Why would you do this?" The man looked at her, his eyes tired but calm. "Because you deserved someone to stay," he said. Tears formed in her eyes, shining in the bright light. No one had ever stayed for her before. No one had ever shared her pain. The timer continued. 0 hours 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 0 hours 2 minutes and 29 seconds. The energy surged again, the strongest wave yet. Both of them cried out, their voices lost in the roaring force around them. The soldiers were forced to kneel, unable to stand against it. The leader lowered his weapon completely. There was nothing left to do. The alien girl closed her eyes tightly, focusing with everything she had left. "I'm trying," she whispered. The man tightened his grip, even as his strength slipped away. "I know," he replied. The timer dropped again. 0 hours 1 minute and 0 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 59 seconds. The final minute. Everything slowed. The light became almost blinding. The air filled with heat and sound, like the world was about to break apart. The alien girl suddenly screamed, a powerful cry that echoed across the field. The energy inside her exploded outward one last time. But this time, it did not spread wildly. It moved through the connection. Into the man, he gasped sharply, his body taking the full force. Pain like nothing he had ever felt. His vision went white, but still, he held on. The timer continued. 0 hours 0 minutes and 10 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 9 seconds. The alien girl's glow began to change. From unstable to steady, her breathing slowed. Her body calmed, but the man was fading fast. The energy was too much for him, too heavy, too strong. The timer reached its final seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 3 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 2 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 1 second. And then, 0 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. For one single moment, everything stopped. The light vanished. The wind fell silent. The ground became still. A deep, heavy silence filled the air. The alien girl opened her eyes slowly. Her glow was soft now, stable, alive. She looked down at herself, then at her hand. The energy was gone. She was safe. But something felt wrong. Her eyes moved quickly, searching, and then she saw him. The man was lying on the ground beside her, unmoving, his hand still loosely touching hers. "No," she whispered, her voice shaking. She quickly moved closer, her hands trembling as she touched his face. He was cold, still silent. Tears fell from her eyes one after another. "You said I wasn't alone," she whispered softly, her voice breaking. Now he was gone. The soldiers slowly approached, no longer with fear, but with silence and respect. The leader stood still for a moment, looking at the man. Then he lowered his head slightly. "He saved us all," he said quietly. The alien girl held the man's hand tightly, her tears falling onto his still fingers. For the first time in her life, she was alive, truly alive. But it came with a cost she would never forget. She looked up at the sky, her soft glow steady and calm. And in that quiet moment, one truth remained. Humans were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced. But they were the ones who stayed, even when it meant losing everything.